Hello. I'm going to try to make a little video showing folks how to replace the old mechanical bolts with the new glue-in bolts. This is one of the 5-piece bolts, which is really commonly used. And over time in softer rock especially, it can loosen up and become a safety hazard. So I'm going to show you guys how we take these out, and then I'll install some nice new stainless glue-ins. So this is the twist bolt that we're going to put in. This is the bolt we're going to take out. So first off, everything that I'm doing is going to happen inside the rock, and so I want to show you how to use what we're going to be doing first, and then it'll make more sense there. So what we essentially have to do is remove the bolt itself from the other 4 pieces here. So the first thing I do is I take this bolt out, and I'm going to remove this sleeve piece, and then that gets put aside. I put this back in the rock, and there's a little cap in the end. I'm going to re-engage the cap and give the bolt a tap to disengage that wedge, and then we can take the bolt back out again. I'm going to reach in, hook this second sleeve, pull that out, and then that gets discarded, and then we reinsert the bolt one more time, and this little cap needs to be forcibly removed. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I already did one bolt right here. I'm replacing the anchor on the root called Black Mamba. And what we're going to do is remove the second one and then glue in the new stuff. So I got my 1/2-inch wrench. And out comes the initial bolt. This one is actually set up pretty easily, so I'm able to take out the first sleeve pretty simply. And I reinsert this, screw it in just a little bit so that it engages with the teeth, or not the teeth, the threads, you know what I'm saying. It engages with the threads. And then take a hammer and give it a tap. And again, what that's doing is it's disengaging the little cone at the end that keeps the tension on the bolt. So then, got my wrench back out. And we pull that back out. This is the trickiest part, removing that second sleeve, because it's way in there and it's kind of a subtle thing to do. So legendary Chris Smith gave me this nail that fits just right inside the hole, and I take pliers or vice grips, and I clamp it on there so I get some leverage. So you got to feel around, hopefully feel where you can get that edge. Yes. And out comes the second sleeve. So I'm going to discard that stuff and put the bolt back in. So now what we're trying to get is that little cone, just that last little bit. So there's a few different ways you can try to get this out. You can pry it with a small bar. You can try to funk it out with a hammer and a sling or a cable. I've just to get the best leverage I can, I've been bringing up a crowbar, even though it's a bit heavy to carry. And what I do is just put a cloth next to the rock so that you don't scrape the rock to pieces. You just get this started a little bit. And then I can get the business end here. And pops it right out. So that's the cone at the end. So now the idea is now we have 0 metal left inside that hole. So we can drill it out with the 1/2-inch bit. You always want to clean these out really well before you put glue ends in. So I'm using a bit of air and then a brush alternately until you stop getting any junk out of there. That's about as good as we get. Dust off around it so that the epoxy can bond really well. And then we have our epoxy. So we've been using the A7 Plus epoxy. And what we're going to do, well, we got to mix it first. So there's a mixing nozzle. You want to make sure that it's coming out gray, not white. And give it a few pumps. And then one more here. Boom. Alright, now we've got our little twist bolts and the way you do it. You twist it in, that gets all the epoxy all nice and twisted into those twisty spots. Put it in as far as you can by hand. And then a little tap with the hammer just to get it to bite in there. And then you can actually, just to keep the hole nice and dry and everything, if there's any kind of airspace around it, add a little bit more of this. And then take a little cloth here and just shape a nice little, we'll call it a happy little volcano. Alright, and then final step, and put some nice stainless hardware on there. Alright. I guess the true final step, I'm going to take a piece of flagging, I'm going to write a little note on it saying not to use this until, 4 or 5 hours from now, to make sure that nobody inadvertently decides to clip it and then ends up getting hurt. So I always do that as well. Anyway, hope that's helpful. Talk to y'all later.